So yeah, come along for a ride in here and see how it goes. We've got local forest fires in this area, so there's smoke all around where I'm living. So it's a little bit concerning. Ideally, you don't want to be outside on days like today. Hey everyone, it's Jonathan from Motorcycology. Thanks for stopping by. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Your support is greatly appreciated. So in today's video, we are going to be doing part 3 of those plastic fenders and the front part of the red Honda CRX. In the video, you're going to see preparing the plastic, digging out the grooves, putting the body filler on and spreading it, and starting the sanding process. So keeping in mind, it's part 3 of the video, which is likely going to run into at least 4, 5, maybe 6 sections as well. So stick around for that video. Thanks for being here, and let's get into it. So it's been 24 hours since I put this on. This is totally set up super hard, super stiff, not going anywhere. It's an excellent product there. So what I want to do is continue building on here and then up here as I move along. So I'm going to put another one in there and then wait. Obviously I don't have to wait 24 hours. I can just wait 20 minutes and continue working through there. So what I'll be working on is sanding this part down just in rough finish, and it's going to look something similar to this. So that's the same epoxy. So this one's been done. It's been lightly sanded down and it's pretty good. So it hasn't been body fillered yet, but this is just the epoxy, how it comes down, which is not bad. I'm going to do the same to this one and see how that goes. What I'm using is a very fine sanding disc on my angle grinder, and I've got the setting on 2, which is not too fast. It has 4 settings, so I think I have it on 2 or 3. So I'm going to try and lightly grind this down so that it looks done. So let's give that a try. And you have to be careful that you don't grind it or sand it off too fast. So just take your time. I'm not working on trying to get the final results here. I'm just basically grinding off all the rough material and getting the basic shape of the edge that I'm looking for. All of this is going to be looked at again, reground with finer material, and made to have a close match to this border as possible. But like I said, for now I'm just roughing out the shape so that I can see if I need to do any more work on it before moving on any further. So far everything's going well. Working on smoothing this section down now. This one I did earlier, and you can see how it'll turn out. So it actually comes out really, really good. This is all pre-body filler, so this is just the epoxy, but it's a nice seamless finish. So this one will be great, and then I'll get on to doing the other fenders as well. We've got a couple other areas here that need to be done on kind of like the grill areas. So I really haven't done any work on this other than the fiberglassing, so this also needs to be fixed as well. So I'm going to get around to doing that. I'm using some cardboard as a backing so that I can put the epoxy in there without it going outside the back. And the same on here as well, so I've got to build this thing up as well. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, got the epoxy ready. You're going to pack it in here. That's about all I've got for this right now. Got to wait for it to firm up a little bit, and then I'll shape it some more. That one's going to take a little bit more epoxy, so I'm going to do it in the little stages here. All right, here we go. So I'm just getting ready here to put the epoxy putty into the space here and just press it around. When the stuff is first done, it's really super soft, and then it gradually gets harder and harder, and then with about 10 or 15 minutes it's super strong. So it's a very easy product to use, and I found using it I was able to peel off and knead as much of the stuff together as I wanted and avoid a lot of waste. So for me it worked out really well, and without this product I can't really think of another way that I would have been able to rebuild these fenders and front effectively. So getting close, this one is almost done, and then I'm just going to pan over, and this one I've already got filled, and it's just a matter of waiting for it to set now. Hey, it's me, Jonathan. I'm halfway through what I'm doing with those CRX panels, and I'm also doing some Corvette work as well, so, and also some motorcycle work. I just changed the oil on that thing yesterday. So just a quick update, I'm working on the epoxy on those panels. I've got the paint ordered, so that'll be coming soon. It's kind of expensive, but it'll be exciting. And wait for that stuff to dry, and then I'll do some more. So I'm getting ready to put a groove in all the cracks here so that I can start filling this with body filler. So it's going to be very similar to what I did on the other side. So I'm just going to put a V-shaped groove in there, and then that'll be ready to fill. So let's attempt this side here and see how it goes. So the rationale behind this is to give a space for the body filler to sit and adhere to. So my goal is to widen this crack space on all the cracks to be about almost a ½ an inch wide and maybe 1/16 or 2/16 of an inch deep. So I basically go around all the cracks on the fender panels and on the front panel and get that done. So much of this video I'm going to fast forward through that process. It's the same for all of them, but I'm going to try and show a little bit of what I'm doing on all the panels as I go through this. So as you can see, it's going to be a nice bonding surface and a pretty decent groove. I'm going to do the same along here, down here, and up here next. Just working on this long crack here. All right, here it is all scuffed up with a wide and shallow valley where that crack is, and that'll be great for the body filler just to settle in there and give it a nice finish. Same thing for the other panel. This one's not as cracked, but I'm just gonna put the grooves in this guy as well. All right, same thing around the corners here. So what this panel is looking like so far, got that nice shallow groove in there, and same on this side as well. And I think that's it for the cracks anyway, so that'll be too easy to body fill in there. All right, this one's got a lot of cracks in it, so let's take off this tape from earlier. This stuff is absolutely so sticky. I'm gonna give it a big thumbs up for being a very good product, at least for this job. Oh my goodness. So sticky, took off the paint there. So there's a crack on that one, and we got a big crack down here too. So as you can see, I'm going to say the cracks are gone, and now I just have these black lines on here that are going to need to be filled, but it's progress and it's looking good. It's one piece and will look great when it's done. Now I'm just wiping off any dust and any other contaminants so that I can get it ready for putting the body filler on it. So it's a long time coming, but I'm glad that I'm here, and let's see how it goes when applying the body filler to this thing. So as I mentioned, just getting ready to put in the body filler in these particular areas. It's cleaned, it's ready to go, and let's get started on this one. This is the product that I'm going to use. It's Bondo, but a light version of it. Inside the package you get a mixing container, which I'm not going to use, and you get some cream hardener in there and the Bondo. See what this one looks like inside. This comes in different types of grades. You can get some with metal strands in it and fiberglass strands in it, which I have, but this one not required for this little guy here. So that's what it looks like, just kind of like a gray gunk. Just going to lightly stir it up very carefully. Not really stirring it, just kind of folding it up. Don't really need much. I'm going to use this mixing tray here to put some on. Just using a small amount here, and I'll stick the hardener in there in a sec. Going to use this thing just to buff it up. Let's sand this down, don't want to ruin the plastic too much. I'm not going to show the entire process here. I've got clips that I've inserted after this narrative here. Same process, you just have to repeat, and just be careful in this case because it's plastic. You don't want to sand too deep into the plastic at all. I'll be doing this one first, so down here and then over on the back sides there. So let's see how that goes. So before putting the Bondo on, I just want to make sure I wipe this down. Get some of the dust off of it. This will look pretty interesting when it's done. So here's the body filler. I'd say that's about half a golf ball worth of stuff. So with this, you only need about 3/4 of an inch. So, just want to lay down this one thing of hardener. Oh, that's nice, it's blue. So, that's the amount. And then it's just a matter of folding it in. Kind of squeeze it down there. And once you get that consistent solid color, then you know it's time to apply. Let's kind of go in a darker gray color here. And the reason you fold it in is you want to avoid getting air bubbles in it. So if you were to stir it, you get a higher chance of getting air bubbles in it. So just take your time to fold it in. I do not need much for this job, but glad to be moving on. So that looks like it's nicely folded in there. Time to use it. All right. Start putting some down here. Just kind of spread it in there. When I'm doing this, I'm putting a little bit of pressure on the body filler, so I want to kind of push it in to the groove that I created, and then also push it into the surface as well. So it's a little bit more than just smoothing it on. You actually have to kind of press it into the spot, or at least apply pressure as you smooth it in. Use one of these body filler scrapers. It's good to use one of these scrapers to get the smoothness in there as much as possible. So kind of like that. That's pretty good for the first coat. Moving on to this big side here. This stuff will shrink a tiny bit, not too much though. Smooth this one down. Perfect. These you can bend a certain amount so you can even shape them to the shape of this thing. I'm happy with that one for a first coat. And time to do this one. This stuff is already starting to set up a little bit. You can feel the difference. And get this on quickly. Smooth that down. There, just leave that to set up. Getting there. Got a little bit of extra here. Yeah, it's setting up too fast now. That's about all I'm going to get out of this one. Smooth it out. There, and leave that one for now. Getting ready to mix up another batch, and I'm going to give it about the same amount. Fold this in. The important part of the mixing process is not to actually stir it or mix it, and I think I mentioned it already in this video, that it's more like a folding in action. And it's not because that's the best way to mix the product as far as mixing the two components, but folding it in reduces or eliminates air bubbles that could form in the body filler, and having air bubbles in is a real pain in the butt because once the body filler dries and you sand it, you keep getting these little bubble marks or tiny craters in your work that have to be refilled. So hopefully this will avoid that process from the start, and it's a lot smarter way of doing it. So it goes on correctly, you avoid as many bubbles in the product as possible and gives you a higher possibility for success. All right. It's good to apply, I think. I kind of squish it in. All right, let's continue down this area here. I'm showing the process 5 times normal speed. It's basically the same as what you saw in the first section, but in order to save time in this video, I'm just putting the Bondo on super fast. Time to smooth it down a bit. We'll let that dry and come back and see how we did. So for the first sanding of this, you need 80 grit sandpaper, which I have here. Let's see how it goes. So here we are with the panels, which have been basically bonded, fiberglassed, and body filled to the first coat. So I'll carry on in the next video with the additional coats of body filler, glazing putty, and then hopefully getting around to priming and painting to get that done. So they're coming along, and definitely a lot of work. Hey everyone, that concludes the video on the Honda CRX plastic panels, the side panels and the front panel. So far they've been bonded, fiberglassed, and also prepared for body filler. I've got at least 1 coat of body filler down and rough sanded it. So in the next video, it's going to be a little bit more about body filler, using some glazing putty, and then getting it ready to prime and paint, and hopefully getting it back on the car. So thanks a lot, you guys, for sticking around for this video. If you like this type of stuff or the other videos that I'm doing, please consider subscribing. I greatly appreciate it. And other than that, we'll see you next time.